Hello everyone, Nathan here, one half of the Heel Brothers, and Happy New Year to all of you out there watching. Finally, 2024 is here. 2023 is officially to an end, and with the change of the new year, we can finally turn our attention to the UNC basketball team. This is a team that definitely deserves our attention. I think we've only covered one video on this channel about the team, and they definitely deserve our attention now as they came in on the newest AP Top 25 poll, ranked number 8th into the brand new year. They're 9-3 right now, a team that looks extremely hot, and we need to talk about this team right now. So let's dive into them just a little bit. North Carolina came in this year, I think at number 19th in the nation. That was the video that we covered of whether or not they deserved the number 19 spot. And my personal opinion on it was that it was a proven ranking. Kind of like the football team this past season when they came in at 21. They're a team that you look at and you saw, okay, you know, you have the potential to be good, but you got to show us that you're going to be good because you let us down the year prior. And North Carolina did. They had a lot of demons they had to get over this past season that they had when they missed the March Madness tournament, declined the invite to the NIT. Caleb Love leaves, Puff Johnson leaves, DeMarco Dunn leaves, and you just had people leaving left and right, and only a very few amount of people stayed on this team that was here from last year. Notably, RJ Davis, Armando Bacot coming back another year, and also Jalen Washington. All three of these guys outside. Well, let's talk about RJ and Jalen. I think they need to get the most attention here. RJ's having an amazing season this far. Like this guy is going absolutely nuts. He just seems like no matter what he has played, honestly, in my opinion, like one of the best, if not the best point guard in the nation right now. 21.5 points a game. His field goal percentage at 44%, 94.9% on the free throw line. That is nuts. This guy is having one outstanding season, and it cannot go without being recognized and being noticed. This guy, we are going to miss him when he is gone. This guy has done a lot for this team. He has been the engine, the spark plug for the team. When he gets going, this whole team gets excited. And I just really like the pieces around him, being able to free him up and let him do RJ Davis things. And, unfortunately, he might not have a great career after college. Hopefully he does. You never know. But, while he's in college, this guy needs to get all the recognition in the world. This guy has earned it so much. Another guy, Jalen Washington. Talk about this guy for a second. A guy that came in out of high school and had some injuries, some bad injuries, some ACL tears, and was having to get over that. Came in, was extremely skinny, and could not really do too much. He was asked to do a little bit in his freshman season. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play the whole season due that he was coming off of the injury from high school. Definitely had to go into the off seasons, get a little bit more comfortable around the rim. Definitely need to hit the weight room. And boy, has he not taken that advice to heart for sure. He's definitely gotten bigger. He's got more comfortable. He was shooting some threes out there against Charleston Southern the other night. And he's really starting to come into his own. He's got some post moves down there too, man. That guy is amazing. But I just want to give some shine to those guys really quick. I love them. I really much enjoy watching those guys. Harrison Ingram, I have absolutely fell in love with. Cormac Ryan, it has struggled some, but has definitely shown some bright spots. Seth Trimble being one of the most improved players in the nation. I think he has to be up there along with anybody. A guy that we knew was good defensively, very good defensively, but had some questions on the offensive side. Has definitely got down that corner three very well and seems to be a little bit more aggressive, especially on fast break dunks. He's always a guy that wants to go right downhill. He's not the biggest guy in the world either, which is crazy to me. Jalen Withers being another guy you saw was having some struggles early in the season for sure, but starting to come into his own a little bit as of late. Totally more. I mean, I love this whole team. I really do love this whole team. I think Hubert Davis did a great job putting this portal class together. And you see the team that he's built, it really complements each other very well. But North Carolina goes into the 2024 year right now, going in the ACC play, getting ready to tip off tonight as you guys are watching this against Pittsburgh, a team that's 9-4. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about where I think this team is headed. You can kind of look at their first, 12 games there, a team that played very, very well. Beat some quality teams like Tennessee, Arkansas down there in the Bahamas. Had a really close nail biter against Villanova. Got a pretty tough contest against UConn and Kentucky, a game that they honestly probably could have won, but just had some mistakes, which is expected out of a young team. And we'll get a little bit to that later. Oklahoma being their most recent top 10 win over number 7 Oklahoma at the time, and just beat Charleston Southern the other night. I was actually in attendance for their very first game against Radford. If you see the little video that I always have, like our intro, I think I always put it at the end of the YouTube videos here. That the outro video or the video of the Dean Dome, that's where that's from. I was there, watched that game, and absolutely loved it. But North Carolina's looking really good going into ACC play. They've definitely got to continuously get better on the defensive end. Early in the season, they were not playing good defense. That I think that's kind of an understatement. They were really not a good defensive team. Now, they could score with anybody, and we saw that multiple times throughout the year. But defense really hurt them. And you kind of heard that Elliot Cadeau and RJ Davis and even Armando Bacot were kind of talking about they were trying some new things defensively. They were switching a lot more and, just running different styles of defense. And they're definitely starting to come into their own now. I want to see that continue to ramp up. They did it very well against Charleston Southern. You saw it really kick off down in Charlotte against Oklahoma, I thought. That's where I started to see some intensity on the defensive end of the ball there. Cormac Ryan is he's kind of a underrated defender there. We know he's a guy that's known for offense, but he's really good on defense, and the team's switching well. You're seeing Armando Bacot guarding guards out there on the perimeter and working out in his favor. Jalen Washington really helps on that end as well. Dude's long, he's athletic. First off, he's a stretch 5 on the offensive side, which really really helps there. But on the defensive side, he's just big, lanky, and long. And it's good to see that Hubert Davis is playing depth. That was kind of a question as well early on, but he started to get more into his bench, playing guys. Okonkwo got some minutes the other night. Which you want to see, Jackson Watkins and things of that nature. They were coming in against Charleston Southern, against these lower tier teams. Obviously, you don't expect to see them on a consistent basis at all. But, last year it was kind of like the Iron 5 plus Puff. That was your lineup consistently. And Hubert Davis is playing around with the lineups. I'm seeing a little bit of this, Jalen Washington and Armando Bacot on the floor, which honestly could kind of work. It's cool to see that this team and Hubert Davis really in the lab working with guys that I believe he completely trusts. Because that was a big question from last year is, you had the Iron 5. Now, unfortunately, you were missing Brady Manick from 2 years ago, and you tried to implement Pete Nance, and that didn't really work out as well as we would have hoped. But you saw him trying to experiment with what he thought he could trust, in my personal opinion. I don't think he really trusted many guys on that team, guys like DeMarco Dunn, in that nature as well. But I could be wrong there. He's doing great. Puff's having a pretty decent season, I believe. But you see him out there and he's playing with the lineups a little bit. Now, Elliot Cadeau's a guy that he's kind of been like Seth Trimble last year, a little bit more nervous on offense. Wasn't the biggest offensive guard in high school. Obviously, this is a guy that's supposed to be still playing high school ball. He's supposed to come in next year with Ian Jackson and Drake Powell, which, by the way, looks really good as well. That's neither here nor there. But you can see him having some freshman issues, some freshman mistakes and things. You saw it a little bit in Kentucky, and you kind of expect that. But the dude is a great passer. He's a great passer, absolutely a great passer. Needs to work on his defense a little bit, but he's definitely shown off his passing ability. His passing ability is next level stuff. And boy, him and Armando, that connection with Harrison Ingram on the wing there, that has been nuts to watch. He has been absolutely lights out from that wing. You give Ingram a wide open three, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going in, especially on that wing. He either side, he doesn't matter. It just is. If it's finding him on the wing, look out. That thing's hitting the bottom of the net for sure, which is another thing you have to say about this North Carolina team, a team that can shoot. Last year you had RJ Davis, Caleb Love being streaky as he was, and that was just about it. Puff Johnson hit one every once in a while. Armando Bacot ain't stepping out and hitting threes. Jalen Washington, like we said, was a guy that was coming into his own and was kind of a little nervous on offense as well. He wasn't out there, hadn't developed that confidence to get out there and shoot it on the three a good bit. And he really wasn't in their sets and rotations. He really wasn't out there on the wing very much. So it's a team that can shoot. Jalen Withers can shoot a little bit. Cormac Ryan can shoot a little bit. RJ Davis can definitely shoot. Harrison Ingram can shoot. You see this, and it's like, dang, man, this team is a team that you can look at and you see them and you're like, okay, this could be a Final Four team. Calipari said it the other day. He says, North Carolina, in my opinion, is a Final Four team. Absolutely. They're a Final Four quality type team. And I believe that they are. But they got to handle ACC play. Starting out with Pittsburgh, this is going to be a tough little stretch here for North Carolina, starting up ACC play at Pitt, at Clemson, at NC State. And then you finally get to come home against Syracuse, Louisville. Then you're at Boston College, Wake Forest at home, at Florida State, which you already saw that matchup once earlier this year. And then you're at Georgia Tech, and that sums up January. Then you get into February, that's your Duke games. And then you're getting into March. This is crunch time now. So North Carolina has put themselves in a very good position early on. And now it's time for them to build on this. North Carolina's had issues with Pittsburgh. Definitely saw it last year. Saw it last year for sure. It seems to be a thing. North Carolina always seems to struggle with Pittsburgh in whatever they play. Basketball, football, doesn't matter. They seem to have issues with them. So they've got a tough stretch here. Clemson's a team this year in the ACC that's playing very, very good basketball. Now, they're sitting 11-1, 16th in the nation as we sit right now. Clemson's got some quality wins themselves there. They beat Alabama early in the season, which really helped them and pushed them forward. Obviously, won the games they were supposed to win. Had some close calls against UAB and Davidson there. Beat a undefeated South Carolina team at the time. Beat Memphis, beat Radford recently. And they too have also beat Pittsburgh. So, Clemson's they're coming in with everything they got. They have a matchup with Miami, which will be an interesting one there. I think Miami's no longer ranked in the top 25, but they're a 10-2 team themselves. So, curious to see what that game shakes out to be. That's going to be at Littlejohn, North Carolina going in there. That's going to be a tough matchup there. They've got some size over there in Clemson. PJ Hall is their go-to guy. Curious to see how they guard him. And then you got NC State, a team that's not the greatest in the world, don't get me wrong, but a team that's just going to be up and high and mighty and everything. We know that North Carolina-NC State rivalry. We know how that goes. So it's going to be an up and high and mighty team. So North Carolina's got a tough stretch right here. These first 3 games that ACC play, thinking about it historically, you're like, Pitt, Clemson, NC State, whatever. But these are 3 solid teams, and you're in their building, and you're top 10 in the country, and a Clemson team that's top 20. That's a pretty hard step there. I think they personally will go get these wins. I honestly could see them going undefeated in the month of January, going into the Duke game. I think it's the 3rd of February this year. But I like this team, man. Armando Bacot's had some struggles. We got to see how he works. He seemed like he's, and don't get me wrong, we've kind of become accustomed to this with Mondo missing some easy chippies. You want to see him start to correct that a little bit. It seems to be a little bit more worse this year than it was last. So we'll see how that goes. But I have faith. I have faith in the guy. He's definitely not playing up to the standards of which I think even he's set for himself, much less, the outside media of the world. Everybody saying, "Oh, this guy could be ACC Player of the Year," things of that nature. Right now, if I had to pick, I think I'm gonna go with RJ Davis right now. I think it is. I think everything runs through him easily. Normally it's Mondo. It runs through Mondo, and he can't get lost in the fold. Don't get me wrong, but right now RJ Davis is your guy. But I think that the pieces complement each other well. And they've got some good challenges right here to start off January, these first 3 games, to see how they're going to play against adversity, because they're going to have adversity in all 3 of them. All 3 of these teams want to beat Carolina. Absolutely. You can't tell me Pittsburgh doesn't want to beat a top 10 team. Clemson, a team that's, potentially looked at firing their head coach because he can't get themselves over the hump all the time. They're always missing the tournament, always missing the tournament. Just barely missed the tournament last year. Thought they should have been in. You can't tell me they don't want to get this quad 1 win against an 8th ranked North Carolina team. NC State wanting to make a name for themselves, rivalry game, big time game in their house. You can't tell me this team isn't going to want to throw everything they can at North Carolina. So Carolina's got some adversity to deal with right here in the first little bit of January. But 2024 honestly looks good for Carolina, and it all starts with these 3 games, these first 3 games. They did a great job in 2023. They won some games. They, some high quality games. I understand the UConn win. That's not a bad loss. Considering that they pushed UConn, and UConn's a team that looks absolutely amazing as we speak right now. That's just a really solid team. One of the best teams, if not the best team in college basketball as we sit right now. Gave them a run for their money. Kentucky, a really solid team. A Kentucky team last year that was not good, snuck themselves into the tournament, and they've turned themselves into a really good, solid team. That's a game that, honestly, you correct a couple of turnovers, don't turn the ball over as much, convert a couple of things there on offense, you might have a win there. It's a win there. You could be a 10-2 team right now, potentially. North Carolina looks good, man. The big wins they've got: Oklahoma, close one against Villanova. Unfortunately, I lost there, but you get the Arkansas win, you get the Tennessee win, a Tennessee team that's very good on defense, and you drop 100 on them. Had 61 on them, I believe, in the first half. It's a good team. So North Carolina's got all of the tools, and in my opinion, control their destiny in 2024. Got to figure some things out. Curious to see how Elliot Cadeau, matures throughout the season. It's going to be a big one for him. It's good that he's able to play with a guy like RJ Davis, as experienced as he is, and be alongside him for a year. I think this is really going to propel him for next year as well. But I don't think North Carolina's ready to look for next year, next season. I think they're ready to look at 2024 and say, hey, let's go do this dang thing, man. I don't like the net rankings, and the net rankings are all weird, but if North Carolina continues to win games, and like I said, I honestly think, and I'm going to predict, an absolutely undefeated January. We'll see how that is at the very end of the year. We'll see how that, or at the very end of the month, before they go into the Duke game, which is going to be a big game. I expect that to be as long as Duke continues to win. I don't know Duke's schedule like that. They're 14th right now as this new AP poll is out. But I personally think that'll be a top 10 matchup, if not top 5 by that time. Top 10 at least matchup there. And, we all know how that game is always every year. And it's in Chapel Hill first of the year, and then it ends in Cameron Indoor. So, I don't know, man. Tell me what you think about the Tar Heels right now. What do you think about their 2024? How does it look? How does the month of January look for the Tar Heels, in your opinion? I want to know. Let me know down in the comments. I'm excited for the basketball team. I am actually trying to find another game to go to. That way I can actually vlog that one for you guys. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to the last time. Had some issues. Left early enough to get there an hour, 2 hours before. Had a bunch of traffic. I left 3 hours away from Chapel Hill, but I don't care. I'll go. I don't care. If I get a chance to go up there, I'm going up there. I don't care. I'll do it on a dime. Doesn't matter to me. But hopefully trying to find another game to be able to go back to. Maybe one of these games in January, maybe in February. We'll see. but hopefully going to get up there pretty soon again. Anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Again, let me know what you think about North Carolina's 2024, the basketball team, in the comments, and we'll see you all next time. And as always, go Heels.
You don't want none.